Hello, and thank you for tuning into the
Mobility
Mobility Bros.
Bros.
I'm so happy to have you guys here, and those who are back, thank you for coming back again. My name is Coach Cliff, if you don't know, and I'm with my brother Ron Hylton, co-host of the Mo Host, and we are here to talk about athletic mindset, mobility, pain reduction, and pain management, the thoughts and processes of practitioners, the mindsets of our clients, and our members. Today's topic is one that may resonate with you. It's the five do's and don'ts of weight loss management, right? And we're talking about overall weight loss, not just, fat loss or, extreme cutting or extreme dieting, which will be part of all of these conversations. Sorry about that. But we are also talking about just if you're in a place where you want to drop some weight and you have an important event, what are the five do's and what are the five don'ts? There are
Right.
many, but we're gonna hone in on five. Ron, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good. I know we were chopping it up a little earlier, and I was telling you I was getting in my workout in and doing my cardio, my strength training, and I mean I was in my second meal today. So
Yeah,
5 meals a day when you're training for a bodybuilding competition, 5, 6 meals a day. So
it's amazing. That's amazing. I know so many people be so happy to do that. They're like 5 meals a day. Thank you, Jesus. And then there's other people who can't fathom getting 5 meals in. They just eat like one big meal at the end of the night.
yeah, yeah.
There's so many type of clients that I've spoken to and people that I've talked to during this journey, and all of them have the same question when it comes down to weight loss. Like, what do I do? How do I get it faster?
Mm,
Like, what is the magic pill? What is the magic bullet? And there is none. It
right.
starts with consistency. You hear people say all the time, abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So obviously there's a big emphasis on nutrition.
Yeah.
But then there's exercise, and people say, well, if I exercise, I'm gonna get heavier, my weight's gonna go up, I'm gonna get muscle, and
Oh my
muscle
God,
weighs
I've
more
heard
than
that so many
fat.
times.
And I don't want to get heavier because muscle weighs more than fat. So should I lift a weight? Uh yes.
Gonna do
But
curls with this pencil and it'd be okay.
so there's so many different things. There's so many different questions about this topic, which is why I think it's a beautiful topic and something that can span way more than the 15 or 20 minutes we're going to give it. But to you, what do you hear when you hear this topic? Overall weight loss. I want to lose weight, Ron. Help me out.
Yeah, so one thing I do consider myself a health and wellness coach. And I do have knowledge, I do have nutritional knowledge, but when they ask me, I do have a system of something I can share with them. But it's just really just coming down to when they ask that question, have a conversation. What is the reason why they want to lose weight, right? So you always want to hear like their reason why, because when you find their why, it becomes it becomes more powerful, right? If they just say, I just want to lose weight. Okay, this is what blah 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 blah, right? But why is it you want to lose weight? Is it in the it's so variables and depends on who you're talking to as far as guys or as far as female or male, and just example, I mean a good chunk of my clients over the years have been mostly female, especially when you're doing boot camps. For some reason, the women are drawn to boot camp training, right? Um, and a lot of this is I want to lose weight because I want to be able to run with my kids. I want to lose weight because I want to be able to walk and just be able to hold my babies and not feel uncomfortable with my body. So there's so many variables on that, but I would say that the biggest question as a professional, a health and wellness professional, is always ask the reason why and then go from there.
I think that's huge. I think the one of the do's that I would definitely say, because you hit the nail on the head. If you don't know why someone's doing something, whether it's the passion for business, why they're doing the job they're doing, why they're living the life they're choosing to live, like then you've missed out on an opportunity to learn more, get a deeper sense of who you're dealing with and why you're dealing with them, and even if they're a good fit for you as a professional working with people. And I agree 100%.
Mm.
I continue to find that it's even more than just the there's a superficial layer of I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight because I feel fat in my shirt or fat in my dress. Then there's a deeper layer. I want to lose weight, like you said, because
What's the
I want to
why? Yeah, the deeper
keep
layer.
keep in touch. I want to keep up with my kids. Then there's the even deeper layer. I want to lose weight because I saw my family member gain weight and die from cancer
Yep.
due to obesity. And then there's even deeper. I want to lose weight because of self-esteem. I want to lose weight because of I don't feel sexy. I don't feel my sex hormones are off.
Mm-hmm.
I can't sleep. And have insomnia. And now all of a sudden you're getting into these deeper, more meaningful reasons why overall weight is a problem for people, and they need to lose it or manage it much better so they can have a better life. They're not snoring and they're sleeping with their partners and all these things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happen. So
Wearing the Darth Vader mask.
yeah. I mean, yeah,
Oh man.
I know a lot of 30-year-old and ups that are sleep apnea wearing that Darth Vader mask. And I was listening to our local radio station here called NPR, which is a community-based radio station, and they were talking about how cancer and obesity are very tied together. And it's not about body shaming anyone. It's about just recognizing that the human body is designed to adapt to any extreme situation, and obesity is an extreme situation for the human body. And yes, your BMI, if you're an athlete, is always going to be bigger because you're stronger, bigger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that may be a thing. And body fat percentage, I like to look at body fat percentage, particularly to see how much muscle versus fat a client has. And if there's a conversion of that, what does that look like? I want to make sure they're gaining muscle and they're feeding their muscle and they're maintaining their muscle, because that's going to be the healthier meat in our meat bags that's going to allow us to live longer, deal with the more stress, manage our the way we use and convert and manage our energy and all the good things.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's where I'm looking at. One of the do's that I have is maintain healthy hydration.
Dude,
Like,
that was one of my dues.
that's it. I'm
So we
telling
didn't
you.
even talk about our do's and don'ts, but that's
No,
my dues.
no, that's because it's a top five, bro.
Right?
I'm telling
Right?
you. This is what I love about this. Like Ron has his homework, I
Yeah,
got my
yeah.
homework,
Drink
and
plenty of
we came
water.
together. So like it's really important to recognize that the body doesn't let you know, oh, I'm hungry, oh, I'm thirsty. It tends to just say, I need nutrition, I need something, I need substance. And that signals to us we're hungry all the time. But the truth is, sometimes you're not hungry. Sometimes your body's thirsty, and that signal of hunger that you're getting is a thirst signal. You don't know the difference because your body's not going to specifically, like, you got dry mouth, dry lips, dry tongue. Yes, that's there. But there's times when you're in a place where water's regularly available, you won't know you're thirsty, versus hunger. Am I touching that right? Do you know what I mean by
Yeah,
that?
yeah. So a topic that I had, a strength, a nutrition, actually, no, excuse me, a nutrition. Let me back up. Years ago, when I first started out, when I worked in a gym, the owner brought in a nutrition expert to help out with nutrition for just for a short period of time. But one of the things she said she said if, and this may not change, but she said if you acknowledge that you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. I was like, oh, okay. I've never thought of that because a lot of people do not acknowledge that they're thirsty, And I was like, well, that's an interesting thing. So that I've always stuck with that. When someone goes a long time and they get that dry mouth, so oh, I'm thirsty. Well, you're probably already dehydrated because you haven't been drinking.
Mm, that's powerful. So when you're starting to see the dry mouth, dry lips, dry tongue, cracked lips, you know how it is where people chapstick it up. They're already dehydrated. Their body's showing signs of dehydration all over the place versus um having a healthy. How much water would you say an average person should be drinking?
Man,
That's a tough question.
it is a tough question because it varies. I tell people, so I've always done this, right? Because I never know like what the thing is. I say, how much do you weigh? Right? If they say I'm 150 pounds, I say, okay, cut that in half. And I said, okay, all right. And I would say, all right, that's give or take about how much water you should be drinking in ounces. If you can't do that, cut that in half and then go from there. So I try to create some type of baseline so it gives a person an idea of how much water they should be drinking in ounces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you'll say, hey, you're 150 pounds. So 75 ounces is your first goal. Go get that. If you can't
Yeah,
do that,
yeah. And that's
cut
throughout the
down.
day, right? Like I mean, it's a little over a half a gallon of water, right? And like by the time you wake up and by the time you go to bed, you should be able to get that much water in. If you know, but some people like, oh my God, I can't even get this much water in. It's like, oh, it's so like,
Yeah, but they're drinking 3 cups of coffee, and they're like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like you're drinking something. You're
yeah.
drinking something. So what's the problem with water? Put a little lemon in it. What do you think about water with lemon, water with like those hydrates or any of those type of things that's added to the water? Water and coffee, water and tea. What do you think about that? Would you count that as water?
So that's kind of a, like I don't know question. I'll be honest with you because it's I've heard so many things over the years. Like I heard, yeah, that counts as water, but it doesn't. Like if you're doing Weight Watchers, it probably counts as water.
There you go. It's important for people to know because there
You
are
know,
people out there doing Weight Watchers.
yeah, it probably counts as water. You know, I mean, way back in the day, in my early 20s, when I knew absolutely nothing about nutrition and fitness, and I was, you know, and I was walking around like a Pillsbury Doughboy, thinking I was sexy, you know, and was having a little back pain, and I didn't think nothing was wrong, you know, and ended up going and doing Weight Watchers, and long story short, lost 40 pounds. But one of the things that they did was they counted coffee and tea as water, part of
Mm.
water. So um, things have changed. I don't know what they do now, but that's kind of like I don't know, to be honest with you. And then putting like something in it, like a hydration or something like that with electrolytes. I would imagine you probably could count that as a water. I mean, I wouldn't be drinking electrolytes if you're just sitting down doing absolutely nothing and you're just dropping in
I need
electrolytes.
some electrolytes to watch this Netflix.
Yeah, watch this Netflix. I mean, that's kind of silly, right? I mean, the purpose of electrolytes is to replenish your body. So,
But
it's
no, some people think that water is harmful and you can drink too much water. You can drown from water. And people
I've
look for
heard, yeah, I've
water.
heard people saying if you drink too much water, you could become intoxicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
I'm like, that's a lot of water. You have to drink I mean, you're drinking way more than 120 ounces of water. You're drinking more than a gallon of water if you're drinking that much water to get intoxicated.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
I've drunk bottles of water. I mean, I've spent so much money on water. I'm embarrassed by it because like water should be rain. Like if it's rain, you got water,
Yeah,
right? But in this society that we're in this capitalist crazy society we're in, that's the thing.
yeah,
I
yeah,
went
yeah. Well,
on some
I was listening to a comedian. To your point, he goes, "Water, water should be free, right?" He's
yeah.
thinking, "No, they're gonna be charging for air. We're gonna be walking around like this, breath,
Yeah.
this is the breath." So,
Yeah, yeah.
but
And
yeah,
it's true. I've seen them charge for air. I've been to gyms where they had the air with the flavored air. You know what I mean? I've been to gyms where they try that and they charge you for flavored air
I've
and they
never
keep it
heard that
on.
before.
And you'd have like lavender
Oh
or
my
you have
God,
like
that's insane!
lime scent, and you just sit there with oxygen masks on and you'd pay, at the
Wow,
shake bar, right at the shake bar. This is like 27, 2015.
wow,
2012, 2012. We've been charging for air. It just depends on what gym you go to.
that's
All right, so
funny.
that's so number one, do just to make sure we're all on the same page, y'all. Drink plenty of water. Now, if you want to count tea and coffee, go for it. If that helps motivate you to knock down that I got that cup in, because some people that's challenging. but I would suggest try to drink just regular water. I like water that's like alkaline water that helps kind of balance the pH, or even mineral water where there's some minerals in it. It's a harsher water to drink, mineral water, but it is going to give you some nutrients and minerals and replace some things, especially if you're not taking multivitamins, which leads me to my number two. What's your number two? I'm curious.
Well, mine's not in order like yours.
All right, so just give me a number two. I don't care what number two it is.
Uh, Create goals.
That's a
That
good
was my
number
number
two.
two. My number one was keep it simple, but my number two is create goals.
I love that. I love that. Keep it simple is a good one. But let's talk a little bit about create goals. Why is it important to create goals? Why can't I just say I want to lose weight, man? What do you mean I got to create goals? The goal is to lose weight, man.
Right, right. But there's no destination, right? If you have
Mm-hmm.
no goals, you have no destination,
Facts.
right? So
Yeah.
if you write down, if you create goals,
Ooh, that was very nice.
you have a destination. And then when you complete that destination, you can check off that goal. And you know what? It actually literally gives you I forgot the chemical in your brain, but it
Dopamine.
dopamine. It gives you a little bit of a dopamine kick in your brain when you check it off. It's like that feels amazing. I completed that. I completed that task. And that goal, that first goal, you could say you could write it down with say within the first 4 weeks, I want to lose 10 pounds. Just throwing it out there, which is doable. I mean, that's a little over 2 pounds 2 pounds a week. It's not excessive. So you can just, oh wow, I completed that goal, and then you just keep writing those goals out until you complete your. Say if your goal was to lose 100 pounds in 12 months, um, you want to create tracks to run on to do that, right? How are you going to get there? And one of the things I say, you know what, maybe it's hiring a professional to help you with that, right? So I put that down, and then have that professional just lay out the map of what you're going to do. Could be a meal plan. Another thing is, if, while you're working on those goals, track your stuff, track your food, track your stuff. I have a tracker on my phone. I track all my food, right? So now you have an idea, you have a layout, again, a map of what you're doing to reach your goal. So and then well, my first point is keep it simple, right? Don't go all over the place, especially if you're working with somebody. They'll lay it out for you and just keep it really simple. So
I was gonna say, Ron, how do I keep it simple with all the note taking? You're telling me I gotta write notes and make goals, and I gotta track my stuff and my macros and my micros. What's a macro? What's a micro? And like, can I just not eat bread? Like, this is what
I
we get.
yeah, I know. Listen, I know.
And
Here,
then it's like, yo, Ron, you said 10. I put 10 like you suggested. It's week one. We started weightlifting and I gained 5 pounds. What's up? Well, have you ever worked out before? No, I'm completely deconditioned. Well then you're gonna get inflammation probably for the first month because we're training now 3 times a week from zero. You haven't done anything, so even doing bridges is gonna make your muscles tear and your butt swell up a little bit because of inflammation. Those things will go down if you take care of yourself, you take the right vitamins and minerals. But I want it now.
right.
Right? Because we're in an instant gratification world, right? But I think you're 100% right. And that's the reality is consistency is king. Consistency is queen. Consistency is king. When it comes down to the do's and don'ts of weight loss and overall weight loss, when you're just trying to chip away at that 10 pounds, when it's like you're deconditioned, you haven't gotten off the couch, the pandemic has slowed you down and changed your lifestyle. You're working from home and driving every once in a while. You're in a chair for 8 to 10 to 12 hours a day. You're snacking on anything that gives you energy to keep going. You may not be sleeping like you used to. Your children are going to school, college bills are piling up, whatever the stresses are. There's a lot of outdoor stresses, outside stresses. Keeping it simple is key to just being able to take a breath. So maybe keeping it
I agree.
simple is keeping that goal list short, like 5 things. I'm going to walk 3 times a week. Just
Absolutely.
walk. I'm going to get up. I'm going to put myself on pause. I'm going to put an hour on my phone. I'm going to take 35 minutes to walk. I'll do a warm up and a cool down like we talked about in our last time we talked together.
Yeah, yeah.
Before that amazing interview you had with Aaron. Shout out to Aaron. Thank you so much for that amazing interview. And that's it. I'm gonna walk. I'm gonna have small meals. I'm gonna eat everything on a smaller plate. I'm not gonna use my biggest plates. I'm going to find a professional. Three things. Keep it super simple. And I'm gonna look at my Apple Watch and my Apple phone and my Apple this and my Apple that, and I'm just gonna go and put some information into the health stuff so that I can track myself because it's all designed in the $1,800 phone that you've paid for,
Right.
right? Right. I mean, if you have a Samsung, then there's other things out there too, but there's also the Fitbit people. I know you're out there. There's also the people who just want to jot things down. There's so many different free applications out there that you can use to track yourself. So
Absolutely.
tracking yourself is just a sense of measuring. I said that as well. My number three is measuring. You have to
Okay.
monitor, measure, and so you can maximize your results. And that's goal setting and measuring is hand in hand. You set the goals, you measure how well you're doing with the goals, you check it off and you move on. You get that dopamine hit, you're riding high off of your walks and all that other dopamine and endorphins and all the things that are coming into your system. And then you find yourself a professional. You don't get scared of lifting out weights because you know it's going to help with muscle maintain your muscle and grow your muscle. And growing muscle burns fat, and it all just feeds into each other with that consistency. So, um, that's my number three right there.
That's awesome. So I love your number three about I know you talked about the consistency, which bridges mine, which is manage your mindset.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Uh, yeah, do change your mindset. So that consistency rides with do change and manage your mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, do I love it? So everybody, listen, we did not talk about what we were gonna. We just put a topic out there. We did our own research, and it's so cool because we're like bridging. We're bridging.
Yes.
You know, it's so
Yes.
cool. So
If
cool,
you're
right?
still with us and you're enjoying this topic and it makes sense to you and it feels like we're taking you from a beginning, middle, and end, please write down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you how you're managing your weight loss goals, if you've had any struggles with weight loss, and if this is connecting, right? So, Ron, let's talk about that, man. Manage your mindset. Like, that's a big one for a lot of people. And I don't think we think about it enough. So, please share with us what you mean.
Yeah, so when you're and this is for anything. I mean, I think with weight loss, especially if you're someone who is looking to lose weight, it it really just starts out with your mindset first, right? Because if you don't focus on your mindset and say, I'm going to do this and I am going to change my life, and you focus on your why, if you don't do any of that, you showing up and just saying, I want to lose weight, and you have no mindset of doing that, you're going to fail within the first couple of days, right? Now, failure is a process that everyone has to go through no matter what, right? So you can have that mindset of, I'm doing this. And at some point, you can still, you know, have a moment where, you're in the corner eating bonbons and donuts, but it's like getting back on track and say, you know what, my mindset is focused. I'm gonna do this no matter what because I have to do this for me, right? So the mindset is where um your mindset is where you put yourself in a position where you know you're going to get focused and you're going to do it.
That's it. I think that's important. Why is it important? Because you will fail. There's peaks and valleys in everything we do, whether it's business success, life journeys. I mean, we know, drop in the comments your peaks and valleys. You may know ours and you'll learn more about ours as you continue to ride with us on this journey and we share our vulnerable selves with you. Mindset is important. I invest a lot. Excuse me, I invested a lot of my money and my time, especially during the COVID era, in working on my mindset because I was really down and out. I was feeling hurt. I was feeling left out. I was feeling abandoned by the people I cared about. I was feeling like I couldn't provide the service that I loved and I was passionate for and I worked hard to build and I sacrificed for. And my mindset needed to be rebuilt. And people took advantage. There was vulnerable times where I was vulnerable with people and they saw dollar signs in their eyes and they took advantage of me versus really having a conversation and sharing with me like, hey, this is where I think you are, and take these steps first before, thinking about investing or whatever. And it goes back to weight loss because I was before COVID, during COVID, I got up to like 275. I cut 40 pounds out. And I'm still on my journey to lose about 40 more.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've never been that heavy before. Not in high school, not for football, not for anything. And it was because I had a really poor mindset and I had to change that. And meeting you is a big part of that, Ron. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome, man.
And speaking of that, number 4 for me is emotional health. If you don't have an understanding of your emotional health, it's going to be very hard for you to love yourself enough to go through the changes, right? If you are dealing with being a heavy person or dealing with people making comments about how you look versus what you should do, and dealing with family and the nicknames they may have given you as a kid, and all the different things that may be affecting the way you change your mindset, then you need to look into your emotional health,
I absolutely
regulate
agree.
your emotional
I
health.
agree.
Yes.
And again, I have a topic that like right go like that, right? Emotional health. So I'm gonna bridge into celebrate your progress.
Nice.
Right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Your emotional health is part of how you celebrate yourself.
Yes. 100%.
Right?
100%.
It's it's it's,
100%.
it's crazy, right? Because you have
Yeah.
to celebrate yourself when you have for your emotional health, right? As you're going through your journey, you celebrate those moments, and then you don't let anybody steal your joy, right? I'm huge at that. Don't let anybody steal your joy, right? Because there's gonna be haters all over the place, right? And those haters probably never experienced weight loss or anything like that. So anything you do that makes you feel good, there's going to be someone that's going to say something about you can't do it.
Yeah.
So celebrate yourself, celebrate your progress, and surround yourself with people that are going to celebrate you and lift you up.
I think that's beautiful. That's number 4, but that really should be. I mean, there's a few. We're dropping some amazing jewels here right now. These are all the do's. We haven't even gotten to the don'ts. If
I
you
know,
want
I
to
know.
don'ts,
We got 5 minutes on this Zoom, so we got to get to some.
what we could do is we could always make another don't video. So this could be the do's video and the
All
don'ts
right, so
video.
yeah, so
Come up,
great. We just keep it up with
right?
this, and then next week we'll talk about some don'ts. Let's do a
Yeah, so
part
drop in the
two.
comments
We
if
do
you
part
really
two.
like what we're doing here and you want a part 2, let us know. Be verbal, write it down, drop it in the comments, and we'll do a part 2 where we'll tell you what to avoid and how to move on. But if you can see what we're doing with the do's, the opposites would be our don'ts in a lot of these, right?
Yeah,
So that's
absolutely. Um, it's just so important that we do that, right? And when we they're talking about the don'ts, it's going to be some of the topics we're going to talk about is maybe don't deprive yourself of certain things. Don't deprive yourself of sugars, which is kind of interesting. So